You share a home with your dog, you walk the same rooms, sit in the same spaces, move through the same ordinary days together. But here's something most owners never fully grasp. Your dog is not experiencing the same world you are, not even close. While you're looking at a quiet street, your dog is hearing a conversation happening 3 houses away. While you're staring at an empty corner of the room, your dog is tracking something moving through it that your eyes will never detect. The gap between what a dog perceives and what a human perceives is so wide that the two of you are essentially living in parallel realities, occupying the same space while experiencing it in completely different ways. 15 of those differences are worth understanding specifically, not because they're curiosities, but because they explain behavior that owners otherwise find baffling, worrying, or impossible to interpret. A dog that barks at nothing, a dog that freezes and stares at a wall, a dog that knows you're coming home before your car turns onto the street. None of it is random. All of it makes perfect sense once you understand what your dog is actually receiving. 1. Dogs hear frequencies roughly twice as high as the human ceiling, up to 65,000 hertz compared to our 20,000. That means an entire register of sound that is complete silence to you is a constant, detailed stream of information to your dog. The hum of electronics, the ultrasonic calls of small animals, structural vibrations in walls. Your dog hears all of it, all the time, in a world that is never truly quiet. 2. A dog's ears can rotate up to 180 degrees independently of each other, allowing them to pinpoint the precise origin of a sound with an accuracy humans cannot approach. When your dog's ears swivel in 2 different directions simultaneously, they are triangulating, building a 3-dimensional map of the sound environment around them in real time. 3. Dogs detect the low-frequency vibrations that precede earthquakes, storms, and structural shifts, sometimes minutes or hours, before any instrument registers them. What looks like unexplained restlessness or anxiety before bad weather is actually a dog responding to physical signals the human body is simply not built to receive. 4. A dog's vision operates on a different color spectrum than ours, anchored primarily in blues and yellows rather than the full range humans see. Red objects appear as a brownish gray. Green and orange merge into similar tones. The world your dog sees is not black and white, but it is fundamentally different in color from the one you're looking at, even when you're standing side by side. 5. Dogs see motion with far greater sensitivity than humans, particularly at the edges of their visual field. Something moving slowly at the periphery of a room, something you would never consciously register, is immediately and vividly apparent to a dog. This is why a dog tracks movement that seems invisible to its owner, and why stillness and movement carry such different weight in how a dog reads its environment. 6. In low light, a dog's vision shifts into a mode of sensitivity that leaves human night vision far behind. A reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum amplifies available light and allows dogs to navigate and detect movement in near darkness. The eyes that seem to glow in the dark are not a quirk. They are a functional biological tool built for a world that doesn't stop when the light fades. 7. Dogs can hear your heartbeat from across a room, not metaphorically, literally. The low-frequency rhythmic sound of a human heart falls within the range. A dog can detect at close to medium distance. Just in medium distance, and research has shown that dogs respond to changes in heart rate with measurable behavioral shifts. When your dog settles against you during a moment of anxiety, they may be monitoring something about your body that you are completely unaware of yourself. 8. The canine nose contains up to 300 million scent receptors, compared to roughly 6 million in humans, and the part of the brain dedicated to processing smell is proportionally 40 times larger than ours. But what most people don't realize is that dogs smell in layers, the way humans see in depth. They can detect the individual components of a mixed smell simultaneously, separating out each element the way you might distinguish each instrument in a piece of music. 9. Dogs can smell time. The concentration of a scent trail changes as it ages, and dogs use that gradient to determine not just that someone was present, but roughly when they were there and which direction they were moving. A dog following a trail is not just tracking a location. It is reading a timeline left in invisible chemical markers on the ground. 10. Dogs detect hormonal changes in the human body that no instrument in a clinical setting can match for speed. Shifts in cortisol, adrenaline, and other stress-related compounds reach a detectable level in human breath and sweat within seconds of an emotional change. Your dog knows you are anxious before you have consciously registered the feeling yourself, not because they read your face, but because they read your chemistry. 11. A dog's visual field spans approximately 250 degrees, far wider than the human range of around 180 degrees. They see more of the world around them at any given moment, including movement happening significantly behind them, which means a dog is never as unaware of its surroundings as it might appear when resting or looking away. 12. Dogs perceive flickering light at a higher frequency than humans, meaning they process fast-moving images differently than we do. Standard television, which appears smooth and continuous to human eyes, has historically appeared as a series of rapid flickers to dogs, which explains why many dogs have never shown interest in screens that their owners find completely immersive. 13. Dogs can hear the specific sound of your car engine and distinguish it from similar vehicles, a recognition built from repetition and the extraordinary precision of their auditory processing. The excitement before you arrive home often begins well before you turn into the street, triggered by a sound signature that is as individually recognizable to your dog as a voice. 14. In certain conditions, dogs may perceive ultraviolet light that is completely invisible to the human eye. Research in mammalian vision has suggested that the canine lens does not filter UV light the way the human lens does, meaning patterns on surfaces, markings on animals, and environmental details that are invisible to us may be part of a dog's ordinary visual experience. 15. Dogs sense the Earth's magnetic field. Studies tracking the direction dogs orient themselves during specific behaviors have found a consistent preference for aligning along the north-south magnetic axis. A biological sensitivity that appears to be genuine and largely unconscious, a quiet awareness of planetary forces that operates entirely below the threshold of human perception. 15 senses, and every one of them is active in your dog right now, in the room you share, in the ordinary moment you're both moving through. The dog looking up at you isn't seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, or smelling what you smell. They're receiving a version of the world that is richer, wider, and more layered than anything your own senses can access. And yet somehow, across that enormous perceptual gap, the bond between a dog and their owner remains one of the closest connections in the natural world. That's not despite the difference. It might be because of it. Because your dog understands you through channels you don't even know you're broadcasting on. Which leads directly into something that surprises almost every owner who learns what's actually behind it. The next video is called, "If Your Dog Sniffs Your Intimate Area, This is What It Really Means," and what it reveals about what your dog is reading from your body and what they do with that information is far more sophisticated than the awkward moment it appears to be.